What about now, Chantal?
That's good.
Oh, it was a quick one.
We said it was going to be
Oh,
short.
hey, we're on. Live. We made it.
All right. Hey, thanks for your patience if you just watched that other thing that happened. If you didn't, or if you're watching it later, you have no idea what I'm talking about, so just pretend otherwise. Welcome to Philbot Live. Today we're going to talk about recycling keyboards. Keyboards.
That's the old keyboards.
We'll talk about how disgusting they are in a minute. You may notice that there's someone to my right who is not Tyler.
Yep.
As he zooms in on you awkwardly. This is Otto. Otto is one of the team members here who
The executive intern.
Executive intern?
Yep.
Did you get a promotion or did you assign yourself that title?
No promotion.
It's a pretty fancy title. Executive intern.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's a bit of a contradiction there, but we don't have to go into that. Might end up a little insulting. But the reason Otto is here is twofold. One, Tyler is not. And secondly, Otto, on the back end, is the one responsible for taking this stuff and turning it into this stuff, and then ultimately this stuff for a lot of our studies. So we thought it would be fun to have you on so you can give the folks watching a little bit different perspective on what we do, how we do it, and all that. So thanks for embracing a bit of your discomfort and being on live for the however many bajillions of people that are watching right now.
How many do we have watching?
We don't need to talk about it. It's going to be a small number. There are more people in this room right now than are watching. And that's fine, because we enjoy doing this, and people watch it later, surprisingly. Okay, so today, like I said, keyboards. We took keyboards, and by we I mean you, and took them from entire keyboard, which we don't have any of those, we took those off the bench, and turned them into stuff. So take us through the process. I mean, this is a good opportunity to talk about how you do your work. So let's use the example of the keyboard. Obviously we had entire keyboards with cables and things. So what was that like?
Majority of it was all in one piece. So I mean, all the plastic was one piece together.
Okay.
So once you open up the backside, the only thing we had to do was pull off the space bar, the shift bar, enter, backspace, and those are all the pieces that had like a metal bar in them.
Right.
And then we just threw pretty much this whole entire thing right into the grinder.
And taking off this membrane, the actual circuitry.
We just left all that behind.
Because really, I mean, one, we can't extrude that, and two, you know, whenever we're doing something like this, we're trying to make it efficient.
And yeah, we
We
also
can't spend
had
20 minutes breaking down one keyboard, because to get enough keyboards, then we're spending weeks, and that's just silly.
And there wasn't enough plastic on the fronts, tons of extra, so we didn't really need to go into all the time to pull off all the other parts.
All right. What other work was involved in the prep?
I had to hit them with the air hose before throwing them in the grinder, because there's lots of fuzz and all that good stuff.
Let's just be real. Keyboards are disgusting. They're absolutely disgusting. If you don't believe me, I was sharing this with everyone. Take your keyboard now, if you're at a computer, and flip it upside down and shake it. Don't shake it over your face, because then you'll hate me. But just shake it and watch what comes out, and you will be disgusted. It's nasty. Even if you don't eat over your keyboard, you can say, how are there crumbs in my keyboard? I don't eat here. Somebody does. Somebody does when you're not around. Somebody sneaks in and they eat crackers over your keyboard.
Or
so we
crush them.
Or just they just or maybe they just come that way from the store. So you've broken down the keyboards, taken the plastic out, gotten rid of as much of the debris as possible.
Yeah.
What's
and
next?
So then we threw it in the grinder. Got all these nice little powdery flakes. And the pieces that look like metal, like this, are just
Metal?
no, they're painted pieces.
Oh, there's one. Yeah, it looks like pieces of metal in there.
Yeah, but they're all just pieces of some keyboards have little silver linings along the top, and so it was kind of like painted on there.
Okay.
Then we put them through the extruder.
Okay.
The X6.
Was there? Didn't we have like keys popping off during grinding? Was it
Yes.
Didn't Tyler say we were still finding keys like all over the place?
Yeah, well, they didn't really fit just right in, and they were just one piece, so you had to like snap in half, like this kind of.
Okay.
And then
the keys would fly.
yeah, keys would usually shoot off.
Be careful, don't get injured.
Safety
Nobody
vest.
wants to go to urgent care because they took a
Key to the eye.
You got an infection.
delete key to the eye. I just got some kind of disease from putting that on my eye. I shouldn't have done that. Keyboards are so gross.
Next year we're gonna have a new guest because Jeremy has pink eye.
Oh God, it's so. I need to go bleach my eyeball. All right, so they went into the extruder, and how'd that go?
Good.
Oh, what is this? Like, what is this plastic, by the way?
It was close to ABS, and we think
It
it
says
was.
on the back of this actually. If you turn it over.
I mean, they're not necessarily all going to be the same across the entirety of keyboards. I think what we got was pretty standard.
ABS polycarbonate, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what you
So
were
the
saying
temperatures
earlier.
were mostly close to the ABS,
Okay.
and kind of ran through almost the same.
Was it difficult to extrude? Did we have to do anything fancy? Any water baths or
Nope.
7 air paths? Or
Just 2 air paths straight through, and then
but we did the 2 so we could extrude faster.
yeah. And then yeah, the print
So we
stuck
got
down
some
pretty
filament.
well
How'd the filament come out? Was it in spec?
for the most part. Once you
Okay, what does that mean? How close were we to spec?
at the beginning, it was kind of bouncing a little bit, but it narrowed down once the machines were holding at the same temperatures. And yeah,
And so then, what did we print? Well, we've got our standard, our Philbot test print,
and then we
which
printed.
you told me something interesting about this, that the, of course we label them, that, was this the one that some of the layers came off?
Yeah.
When you pulled it off the bed?
It was all in one piece, and then when I grabbed onto it, it kind of, I guess the layers didn't really stick, so it ripped off.
Okay. Why? Any ideas?
It was probably printing too cold.
Okay.
So this one I printed a little bit hotter. Everything stayed intact. All
I'm
on
really
the bottom.
impressed with how flat the bottom came out. Like it didn't warp at all.
We used ABS slurry on it.
Oh, okay, on the print bed.
Yeah.
Now this, I think this is our first time talking about that on live, so could you explain to the viewers what ABS slurry is?
ABS slurry is kind of just like acetone and ABS mixed together
Okay.
until it's one mixture. So once the ABS completely dissolves, and then you kind of just brush it onto the print bed, and the acetone kind of flashes off with the heated bed and whatever. And then when you print, it kind of heats up the ABS that's stuck on the bottom and really
So-
creates
so-
like a glue.
It's a way of building a base to print onto.
Yep. So that all the corners stay down.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. And that worked well
it worked well.
because, as Kevin said, we got a pretty flat bottom on that. And what is it we printed here? I see some memory cards and a thumb drive, a media
I'm not sure.
holder
I think so.
with
I'm not
a
sure what it's called.
with a cable guide. I
It's
mean, that's what
quite
I'm
rough.
calling it because we could do this. So if you had several cables, you could feed them through there, and the sheer 3 ounces, not even, the sheer half an ounce of weight that this thing is would hold them all in place perfectly, and they would never move.
Right.
Great. I mean, maybe if you glued it down. No, don't glue it down because then you won't get this. Oh, maybe, no, you can't. If you had smaller, if you built it up bigger, you could feed all your cords through that, and then you'd be solid. It'd work. If we had this to do over again, is there anything we would do differently?
I would probably soak all these pieces before throwing them in.
Why?
Because I think there's still a whole bunch of stuff in it.
Oh, okay, get them even cleaner.
Yeah.
Ew.
Because
Keyboards are so gross.
the reason I stopped extruding with it, the melt filter had filled up with all the dust, and
How many spools did you get before the melt filter filled up?
about one was rough because the temperatures were still going up and down.
Yep.
But once we got the temperatures, we had like about 1.5 good spools, and
It's
then
not a lot for a whole melt
No.
filter, is it?
no.
Okay.
So I think if we soaked them or did something else to clean them,
Dishwasher.
yeah, run right
We
through.
popped all the keys off and put it in a dishwasher. Now, obviously, we're not doing this because we think that you should go clean out your closet as well as everyone else's closet. Most of us have a box somewhere in a closet or in a basement of old computer stuff that works completely fine, but we don't want to throw it away even though we haven't touched it in 10 years. Keyboards are often in those boxes. But this is a good example of a material that is around, and it's around in abundance. It's something like 40 million tons of electronic waste every year. I think that's the number. We have it written down. I should know. 41 million tons. I was close. Of electronic waste, and who knows by weight how much of that is keyboards. But it's a real problem. Right on.
We were going to print something else.
What were we going to print?
My request was the skull keycap.
A skull
For
keycap?
like your delete key.
Oh, make a skull out of it?
Yeah, like a 3D skull.
Yeah, Kevin's computer has a light behind it, so we're gonna make it
Oh,
hollow
that would have been
so it
super
lit
cool.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't
This
we
guy
make
was
that?
busy.
Yeah, I had to go to college stuff.
You and
Who
your,
goes to college?
You and your learning. You and
Did you
your
learn
ridiculous
anything from
learning.
Tyler?
Start a business, quit. All right, we got any questions coming in?
Yep.
Sweet. No questions. Awesome. All right. You think we're leaving anything out to share with people?
I don't.
Kevin?
Not that I can think of.
Chantel?
No.
All right. So let's just call it there. I want to thank everyone for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications on subscribe because YouTube is weird. And otherwise, you can check us out, philabot.com. You can check out all of our products from our extruder, spooler, yada yada over there. We'd love to hear from you. We do these videos every Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern.
Ish.
Thanks so much.
Ish.
We start trying to run these videos at 3 o'clock Eastern.
We've been pretty good recently.
Give or take a couple minutes. You know?
Yeah, a couple minutes.
We're not starting at 3:20 like we did some of the first ones. Oh, all right. So now we need to banter for 30 seconds
30
before we cut it
seconds.
off, so we can put our end credits up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you like the rain?
It's good for my tomatoes.
Oh, you have tomatoes?
You're terrible at this.
I didn't know.
You were fine until I said we had to banter.
I know. But
Where are you going to school?
Wentworth.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't think I have any friends out there, but they sent me stuff like every friggin' week. They're like, you should come to Wentworth. No,
Oh, so you're in
I don't want
Boston.
to. I didn't want to live in Boston. I love Boston, but I didn't want to go to school in Boston.
Yeah.
I was in Worcester.
It's part of the Fenway, so it has like, 9 colleges that are all on one street. Yeah, that'll be fun.
That's cool. Must be a long street.
Yeah, kind of long. They're also on top of each other, so. Yep.
Makes me think of SimCity.
It's like the
What-
Empire State
what's
Building,
the-
but all with colleges.
What are the buildings in SimCity that are just like ridiculously big and hold like 500,000 people? Oh, what's the name of those buildings? Must have been. Has it been 30 seconds by now? Dear God, I hope so. Bye.